What are we doing with these? Let's stop fooling around. If you want Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's topping out, by the way. So I'm going to say enough is enough, and ka-ching is ka-ching. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the conclusion of the lightning round.
So there you have it. Jim Cramer is saying enough is enough. Bitcoin is topped out. So you know what that means. The exact opposite is most likely to happen because of inverse Cramer. And VanEck CEO confirms that the Bitcoin spot ETFs will begin trading on Thursday. So we're about to see a wall of institutional money flow into crypto over the next year to 2 years to 5 years to 10 years. And all the fees came out this morning because they're all getting ready to basically list on Thursday. That's not been filtered out through all of the news yet. Listen to this.
Jan, have you filed the fees?
Yeah, all the fees came out pretty much this morning, Bob, because they're all getting ready to basically list on Thursday.
Okay.
And so that's not been filtered out through all the news. I don't want to talk about the specifics of ours. What I will say, though, I agree with Kathy that really we're standing on the shoulders of giants, and there are a lot of developers that have worked for free to build the Bitcoin network and continue to add, to make changes to that network. And that we wanted to pay respect to those developers. So we're giving part of our profits that we're making off of this ETF.
But you did publish your numbers this morning, right?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's out there.
And you don't want to tell us what it is?
No, but Doug's compliance people are making me really nervous.
Oh, brother, for crying out loud. But you think it will start trading on Thursday?
VanEck products are competitively priced and very well built.
You're reading like an advertisement. But you believe it's going to start trading Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Gary Gensler has done everything in his power he can to slow down crypto, but according to the Bitcoin therapist, this is going to be Gensler later this week. So Gensler might need some therapy after this one. And could he change his Twitter bio to say 100x crypto calls Gem Hunter, Uniswap DGen, DM Gary for collabs, not financial advice, do your own research. So we're about to see some big changes in the markets. And Craig Salm, posted this 6 hours ago saying dotting some I's, crossing some T's. So basically just completing some legal paperwork, but it's a done deal. So in this video, we're going to be talking about what's happening in the crypto market, the macro market outlook for, Bitcoin, for the rest of the markets, the altcoin market, Bitcoin's dominance, what's taking place right now that you can be ready for. When a correction is coming, we're also going to be talking about what happened before Bitcoin's halving compared to gold. We're also comparing to XRP and when the next breakout for XRP is taking place. So comment 777 if you guys are feeling blessed. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish. And if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by taking your putter, grabbing the like button, give it a tibbity taparoo, sink the putt. We're doing it for grandma. We're beating the SEC, and we're buying our house back with XRP. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So looking at the crypto total market cap right now, excluding Bitcoin in the psychology of a market cycle where we are, I drew this up for you guys and I marked on the charts in comparison to the last bull run when we saw the belief phase, the thrill and the euphoria, Bitcoin peaking out and the entire altcoin market cap peaking out at about $480 billion. Then we saw the dead cat bounce for the complacency, anxiety, denial, capitulation, panic, anger, and then the 2019 rally and the sell-off for COVID led everyone into depression. People were depressed. They were in their houses. They couldn't go out. They couldn't do anything. So I think that's a fair, accurate representation of what depression, where the depression stage was. The altcoin market cap was all the way down to $40 billion right here. Then when we broke out and we broke the 2019 high, this was the disbelief rally. Now, during disbelief, there is a correction that takes place. This correction was 27%. And so the real question is the disbelief rally going to push higher with this ETF news? There's two scenarios that could take place. Scenario number one is ETFs get approved and we push higher in the short term. And then the disbelief rally, I think, could take us upwards of where the support was all the way back here, in January of 2022, anywhere between $875-ish billion, upwards of, $1 trillion, where I think the disbelief rally could top out at. So that's scenario one. We could even push higher than that. Scenario two is a delay or denial. So that I'm grouping that in scenario two, because a delay or a denial would cause a further sell-off in the altcoin market cap and also Bitcoin's market cap, and we could see the price come down further. But we did back test this range as support, and very similar to what happened back here in 2019 when you saw the breakout and Bitcoin crossed and the entire altcoin market cap crossed $140 billion. The disbelief rally pushed us to 167 billion. Then we saw that correction. We saw a minor little correction take place of 14% across the entire market, and some altcoins, bleeding out into Bitcoin. As you guys can see over the past week, you see a lot of these altcoins down 22%, near protocol. You see Algorand down 20%, Optimism down 15%. The majority of the altcoins have been bleeding out in comparison to, Bitcoin. But over the past year, Render's up 800%, Caspa's up 2,200%, Akash 1,200%, Solana 600%. So Caspa's been performing very well, Injective's been performing very well, and then you see these smaller ones out here like Near, is climbing up, AVAX, Link, Optimism, and some other projects that we're going to be talking about on this channel. So bringing this back up, when we went through the disbelief phase was rocky from this breakout period. It lasted about 112-ish days. And so from this breakout, when the altcoin market broke this resistance, we've been in this phase for not very long. We've been in here for like 40 plus days, a little over a month. But what comes after disbelief is hope. And so hope, I believe, would be upwards of the complacency and euphoria stage, and then leading into optimism, belief, thrill, as we push upwards of $2-3 trillion for the entire altcoin market cap. So if we were to draw the Fibonacci retracement from the high of January of 2018 to the low, what we did for the euphoria phase, we pushed all the way up to a 3.618 for the all-time high for the altcoin market cap at $1.7 trillion. And so if I were to draw the Fibonacci retracement from the high of November of 2021 to the low, well, what would a 3.618 be? That would be $5 trillion. So I think towards the end of this bull run leading into 2025, we could do anywhere from a 3.75 trillion to a 5 or a 6 trillion dollar market cap at the end of 2025. So we are just getting started. So I have good news and I have bad news. Okay. So the good news is that we're early. It's the best time to be getting into crypto long term. The bad news is on the way up, there's corrections of 20, 30, 40%. And if you're buying in at the rallies, at the peak of the rally, let's say the ETFs get approved, we see the altcoin market cap shoot up very, very fast to 800 to $1 trillion, and you're buying in up here, well, then we see the disbelief correction come all the way back down to backtest again this zone as support, which was resistance since August of 2022. And then we work our way out of here for hope 3 to 12 months after Bitcoin's halving, consolidate, and then push higher to go into optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria at the tail end of 2024. This is what I'm expecting, right? Because I'll share with you on the charts, and I have a lengthy video for you guys today to bring up data, because I back my opinions with data, and men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So let's talk about the numbers. Bitcoin had a solid pump yesterday with the price soaring to $47,300, marking an 8% rise, and it's currently hovering around $46,600. The open interest spiked up to 11% during this pump, hitting nearly 780 million. However, the OI is still below the level it was before the major dump last week, which is actually good news, because in the heat map, we can see that we nicely scooped up liquidity in the $46,000 zone. The next significant liquidity area started from around $48,000. Now on the downside, the next major liquidity region is about $42,500. And the price tends to move, right through these zones to liquidate those that are either shorting or longing the market. So we can see that a lot of shorts around $47,300 to $47,400. So if the price moves to the upside, we more than likely would blast through this. And you guys can see the gap right here in the heat maps where there's not much leverage on the table, right around $48,000. So my price target for Bitcoin in the short term before we see some type of correction is about $48,500, which would be a 618 retracement on the Fibonacci retracement on the macro. And on the downside, if we push to the downside, you can see this the most amount of leverage right here is at $44,600. So we could sweep either one of these. Now with the denial, because it's January 9th right now when you're watching this video. January 10th, pretty much the deadline, unless they find a reason to delay. And if it's almost done, and experts are saying over 90% approval rate, then more than likely the likelihood of a push up to $48,000, $49,000 is higher than a sell-off. So in the short term, bullish, right? But then again, there could be a correction coming soon, so get ready for this, because in the order books, you can clearly see what happened yesterday during the pump. The bids surged significantly while the sell side took a sharp dive. Now, the bid side is still on the rise over the past few hours, while the sell side remains relatively flat. The buy side has now grown to be twice as large. So people are bullish, and for good reason. And so what was this transaction 3 hours ago? Marty Party posted this on Twitter saying this address received $2.8 billion of Tether, the stablecoin, from Tether's treasury and has deposited its funds into exchanges today. Is this a large ETF seed or a whale preparing for the approval to buy Bitcoin? So over the next 24 to 48 hours, you guys are going to see some massive price action in the markets. Now, let's look at Bitcoin's market cap dominance compared to the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So at the top, this is Bitcoin's market cap dominance. It's at 55%. We saw, Bitcoin sell off to liquidate those that were long in the markets for that crash, brought Bitcoin down to 50%. And now there's this range that I'm looking for of resistance, roughly around 57 to 58%, which is also this downward trending resistance in yellow that you guys can see in this hot pocket right here that I would expect Bitcoin to push into the ETF news and leading into, February. And so if the ETFs are approved, Bitcoin's dominance is going to surge into this right here. And then I would expect Bitcoin's dominance to cool off as the ETF news kind of wears off. The institutions have poured in their initial seed capital. They're calling up their large investors. They got the majority of the income, because when you launch, for example, I've been in sales and marketing for over a decade. When you launch a product and you do like a webinar in the online space, or you just sell something through the phone or whatever, you tap through your warm market, you tap through your existing client base, there's a thing called the law of diminishing returns, where eventually, like the first initial launch, you do the most amount of sales. Then after that, the returns diminish, because then people are used to hearing about it. And so that's what's going to happen based on Bitcoin's dominance and based on these ETFs, where eventually Bitcoin's dominance is gonna start to cool off. The ETF hype is gonna die down like it always has. When the Bitcoin futures news came out, that hype died down, and then people search for the next narrative. Then the next narrative that's coming up is Bitcoin's halving, and I'll share with you what's happened every single time leading into Bitcoin's halving. And so this is why this time is not different, guys. Sure, this time is different in the fact that it's a spot Bitcoin ETF, and that's different. But in terms of how the hype dies down, it always plays out the same way. Okay, the hype always dies down, and then people search for the next narrative. Then after Bitcoin's halving, then there's the next narrative, and it leads into something else. So here's what we're looking at right here on what happened the last time Bitcoin's dominance dropped. Bitcoin's dominance was upwards of 72%, and it came all the way down to 39% from December 28th of 2020 to 17th of May of 2021. Now, looking at the total altcoin market cap, the altcoin market cap pushed from the hope stage. If we go all the way back here, and you guys see, we went from hope to optimism to belief and thrill really, really fast while Bitcoin's dominance was dropping. So when Bitcoin's dominance drops rapidly, the altcoin market cap went from 200 billion all the way up to euphoria right here to over $1.2 trillion. So could we see something like this play out, where Bitcoin's dominance drops rapidly and we just see Bitcoin start to go drastically to the downside, and we see the altcoin market cap just all of a sudden start shooting up rapidly before Bitcoin's halving? Well, that's possible. Or could we see something like more like this take place, where Bitcoin's dominance just kind of cools off for a little bit and then sees another rally back up, and then sees a final sell-off event leading into 2025? Well, something like this could be more likely, where Bitcoin's dominance doesn't just drop because institutions are going to start pouring money into Bitcoin. So I would expect Bitcoin's dominance to stay relatively higher for an extended period of time, and then we see an altcoin bull run, on the tail end of 2025. I would expect something like that to happen. But hey, it's anyone's guess, guys. If we go from what happened in December of 2020 to May of 2021 really fast for the altcoin market, and we just start shooting up, that would be incredible, because you guys would make lots of money, and we could see over the past week which projects are going to be the movers and the shakers for this bull run. It's the ones that have remained relatively strong over the past month, in the past year, that are going to do very, very well over this entire bull run. So over the past month, you can see ICP, AKT, Osmo, SEI, Solana, and then ICP is one of the ones that I'm the most bullish on, and then SEI, Osmosis, VeChain. You could see a lot of Akash, Optimism is going to do well, Avalanche is going to do well, Algorand is going to do well, and so having a diversified portfolio is key. Over the past year, you guys can see that Akash, Caspa is going to do very, very well as well too, with their block DAG technology, IMX, crypto gaming, artificial intelligence, and gambling, GambleFi. So GameFi, GambleFi, AI, and SocialFi is going to do really well too. And then real world assets. Now, let's look at the Bitcoin stock to flow model, and let's talk about what's happening right now in terms of the days until the next halving and where we are in terms of the color right here. Because as you guys can see, during the last few bull runs, when we went from blue to purple to red, it was rocky during that last bull run. During the bull run before then, before Bitcoin's halving, from blue to purple, we saw a major rally upwards of $700, then a sell-off going into Bitcoin's halving. The bull run before then, from blue to purple, we saw a major rally, a sell-off, consolidation in Bitcoin's halving. Then when we turned red to orange is when we rallied. So this has not been priced in. This ETF has not been priced in yet. Sure, there's going to be a correction coming. As you guys can see, we're dark blue about to go to purple. So I do think with ETF approvals, we rally up very, very fast. 48,500. I could see us pushing past that. I could see us pushing 50, 55, maybe 60K. And then I would expect the closer that we get to Bitcoin's halving, the likelihood of a correction coming increases. And the reason why is because when you look at the charts right here, we're about 116 days on Bitcoin's price chart until Bitcoin's halving. And we're sitting at $46,700 right now. If we hold this support on the left-hand side that you guys can see at about, $46,000, and we keep pushing up higher, eventually it's going to get to the point where the RSI is coming back up on the right-hand side of the screen right here to retest the high of that rally that was $45,000. Now, if we see the RSI put in a lower high, that's not good news for Bitcoin in the short term, because that means that the momentum is shifting from the bulls over to the bears as we see the RSI put in a lower high and the price is putting in a higher high. Then I would expect the downtrend to push Bitcoin down into the halving. But on the contrary, we need to watch the RSI, the relative strength index, on the weekly, and see if Bitcoin's price rally with the ETF news pushes Bitcoin's price upwards of 48, 49, or 50K. If the RSI comes up above what it was before, which is 83, and we start pushing 84, 85, or even 90 on the RSI all the way up here, I would err on the side of caution. I personally will be hedging out a large portion of my portfolio, because when we're above 70, we're an overbought. When we're above 80 or 90, that is just a terrible time to buy, right? It's a great time to sell. When you're above 80 or 90, you get out of the markets. You hedge your portfolio, because we're coming down. We're coming down into Bitcoin's halving. So I could expect the RSI to push up past the high of the 4th of December. That could happen. And also looking at what happened during the last phase before Bitcoin's halvings, it was 91 days and we dropped 63%. 91 days before. We even crashed further than that from the high of June of 2019. But if I were to measure for this rally from December of 2019 upwards of 10th of February of 2020, then COVID dropped 63%, 91 days. Then we consolidated, after Bitcoin's halving, before passing 77 days. Then the disbelief rally took place before hope, 161 days. And so 30, 60, 90, 120, 30, 40, 50, 5 to 6 months after Bitcoin's halving, it took for us to break the high of 2019. So the last bull run, 5 to 6 months after the halving, was the best time to accumulate. The bull run before then, what happened? Well, we rallied up before Bitcoin's halving, and then we saw a sell-off of 31%, and it happened 28 days before Bitcoin's halving. Then Bitcoin's halving took place, and how long did it take for us to pass that high after Bitcoin's halving? It took 161 days, 5 to 6 months after Bitcoin's halving, before we passed the high prior to the halving. Now, the cycle before then, we're just looking at history, and we're seeing what could potentially play out for this cycle. So 105 days, so about 3 months and 10 days before the halving, Bitcoin rallied up really fast to $16, and then crashed all the way down to $7. It crashed 56%. And then 105 days before halving, Bitcoin halved. Then how long did it take for it to pass that high again? It took 56 days. And so this cycle is not really as important as the past two because Bitcoin was only at like $7, $16. The market cap was like so new that the price could fluctuate so much more. And as you guys can see, then Bitcoin went from like $13 all the way upwards of $200 really, really fast. And that's when we saw, Bitcoin's price really start to surge out of the 2012. This is actually the 2011 low. But each time, so every single cycle before Bitcoin's halving, Bitcoin rallied and then sold off into the halving, then consolidated anywhere from 56 days to 5 to 6 months. And so that's what I would expect to happen for this cycle. And for anyone that says this time it's different, those are the same, that's the same mentality, different group of people that haven't been around crypto since 2011. Now, I wasn't in crypto in 2011. I was a little late. I got into crypto 2016, 2017. So about 7-8 years going into crypto. So I'm still new, but I guess since crypto's new, I've been around for the majority of each cycle. I got the 2017, 2018 cycle, 2021, made a lot of money in both cycles, but I also lost a lot too because I thought that each time it was different, right? And so this time around, I've made the mistakes, been there, lost lots of money and was frustrated because I thought it was different. Now, comparing to gold, I talked about this in yesterday's video. Gold's ETF was approved. Gold rallied another 5% for 18 days, for a little over 2 weeks. Then gold dropped 10%, then consolidated for 287 days, and then passed that high. And so in the long term, the ETF news is not priced in because the institutions are going to be pouring trillions of dollars, guys, into the crypto market, into Bitcoin. Altcoins are going to go absolutely crazy. This is going to be where the majority of wealth is going to be made, is when Bitcoin's dominance tops out and starts to roll over and we start to see that flow into the altcoin market cap and we start to see these altcoins pushing up where $1 trillion, $2 trillion, $3 trillion by 2025. You guys have to just be in the water, be in the wave pool. Like when you went to a water park and those wave pools that sometimes would take 10 minutes in between the waves where you had to sit there waiting in the water. And you're like, when's the waves coming? The waves coming, you just got to be patient, and they want to shake you out. They want to have demand destroying events to shake you out of your position so they can do what? They can buy up your crypto. The elite want better deals on the crypto. So if there's a shakeout event coming, just be ready with dry powder on the sidelines.
One other thing I will say about Bitcoin that I think people don't understand, and this is part of the innovation that's really important. Think about Bitcoin's a commodity, right? The SEC said it's a commodity. It is a commodity. One coin's the same as the next. Okay, fine. Every commodity in the world, if you increase its price, the supply goes up. If gold went to $10,000 tomorrow, we'd mine more gold. If corn went up, if oil went to $300 a barrel, we'd drill for more oil. You would get more, higher price, you would get more. No matter where the price of Bitcoin goes, the issuance schedule is set. There's not going to be any more. It comes out, every block is, 6.25 coins right now, soon to be half of that. So, that's unique. And as a result of that, the world has never seen anything that really kind of looks like this, which is why, Ronnie Storferly had a great chart on it. Showed, Bitcoin from inception has grown at 145% compound annually, and it's got a lower Sharpe ratio than any other asset out. This is an amazing beast. It really is. And so I, look, but it's volatile, and to some it's scary, and I get all of that. But, I've long contended that anybody who has zero of this is really, really missing the most asymmetric bet that I've ever seen in 40 plus years of trying to make asymmetric bets.
So not only can they mine more gold from the earth, but there's actual laboratories that can change the molecular structure of gold. If you heat it up enough, it could turn to, I believe it's mercury or something like that. And there's even laboratories that make diamonds, and they make fake diamonds. So who's to say that some laboratory can't create fake gold that's almost as real gold moving forward in the future? So, Bitcoin is one of those commodities and one of those asset classes that every single halving decreases the amount that can be rewarded to miners. And so in and of itself, that's scarcity. The US dollar doesn't have that scarcity because the Federal Reserve prints as much as they want. So how do we go $34 trillion in debt? Unlimited money printing. And so that's why the value of the dollar is declined. And that's why property, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because it's forcing smart investors to put money into real estate, into the stock market, into the crypto market. And so you see these assets, a lot of people say real estate's inflated. Well, it's inflated because the Federal Reserve won't stop printing money, because the more they print, well, then that money goes into the hands of the wealthy, because the poor and the middle class pay their bills, they pay their mortgage, they pay their utilities, they pay for gasoline. Who owns those companies? It's the elite that own the companies that they pay. And what do the elite do with that money? Well, they're not just going to keep it in a savings account. They're going to put it into the stock market. They're going to put it in the crypto market. They're going to put it in precious metals. And so, yes, precious metals will do well, but crypto will do better. And within the crypto space, altcoins will do amazing. Specifically, XRP, even though XRP has been underperforming compared to the rest of the market, listen to this. This is pretty interesting.
Well, one question I have too, I think a lot of people have it. If you get past today, the SEC tomorrow says, okay, you're all clear. You can start trading on Thursday. How soon before you turn around and try to make other spot products for different crypto assets?
I think we're going to see a lot of filings come out for Ethereum. I even think we might see something for Ripple, given the recent progress. You notice that Grayscale just added Ripple to one of their trusts as publicly traded. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw Ripple or Ethereum spot ETFs out there.
So why did Grayscale add, Ripple's XRP if they weren't planning on doing something in the future? So don't let the price chart fool you guys. I know a lot of people are frustrated. They're getting out. They've been posted saying that oh, this is frustrating. This asset doesn't move. It's a crap project. And I've said this in the past few videos. The more people that are negative, the better. And the reason why is because that's why 99% of people lose money, is they do what the 99% of people do. Have you ever noticed when you're getting on the freeway, there's a certain amount of cars in one lane that are just piled up, but then there's another lane next to it that's completely free? Well, people are in this autopilot zombie routine where they just do what other people in front of them do, when you could just get over into another lane and you can go faster. And now, sure, XRP might be considered the slow lane right now, and there's other altcoins that are moving faster, but the purpose of those altcoins is to grow your portfolio, to be able to hedge and put them into the long-term high conviction plays like XRP. So if I'm in another project like ICP, or if I'm in, I wouldn't say Ethereum, or like Solana or Avalanche or something that's growing faster, and it starts to increase in size of my portfolio, well, that gives me time to hedge that while XRP is undervalued and buy more XRP, because XRP has the legal clarity. And so if there are to be other ETFs that come into the market, XRP for sure would be one for these institutions, because they won the lawsuit. The SEC would have to approve an ETF because it's not a security. All these other altcoins are still in question. It's common sense at this point. The only thing that might not be common sense, because common sense isn't so common anymore, is the price chart. But that's good. If XRP comes all the way down to this upward trending support of 50 cents, I'll be buying more, because I'm looking at the chart right here and I see the resistance is upwards of 90 cents to $1, even upwards of $1.30. But on the macro, we're looking at the all-time high of $3 or more, because XRP missed the last bull run. So don't be sleeping on this project, guys. There are lots of projects that I'm bullish on. We called ICP, it pulled the 3X, but I'm telling you, XRP is my #1 pick for this bull run for a reason. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, then congratulations to all of you guys who are right as well too, because we're going to be camping on the beaches of the moon together as we back up our truck all the way to the bank, grab the bags, pack them and stack them, leave no bags left behind, because we believe that the spending power of the dollar is going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. Everybody agrees. The people who disagree, don't even know what's going on, man. Go walk outside and look up. And if you tell me that the sky is orange, that's like saying that the dollar is going to stay around forever. So common sense would suggest that now you have some common sense. So I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll see you on bullrunners.com if you want to discover our top altcoin picks first and get early bird access to our financial education platform when that's released. You don't need any crypto trading experience if you're brand new and you've never been involved in crypto before. All you can do right now and all you need to do is go to bullrunners.com. The link will be in the description. Click the button on the page, put in your best email address. You'll be instantly subscribed to our video newsletter to receive breaking news updates first. You'll get free access to our Telegram group where we post this information first. That way, when these videos are recorded, researched, uploaded, edited, distributed, and published, and the algorithm gets it to you, it's hours or days later. So getting this information right away is imperative for your success. So I'll see you guys on the next video. As always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.